Side effects from radiation therapy. Who knew? Well, the doctors knew, and we've been working on those for the last few weeks. I'm almost halfway done with radiation treatment, so let's talk about it today on the Fit for Any Battle podcast. Welcome to the Fit for Any Battle podcast, episode number 17. I'm coming to you about halfway through my fourth week of radiation therapy. Took a couple weeks off to deal with some side effects, go through Father's Day. It was really tough to try to fit in recording a podcast when I'm working, trying to handle the family stuff, and not feeling really well. Thankfully, I'm pretty close to feeling 100%, but let's talk about the side effects that I had when I first started the treatment. The first side effect I had was vomiting. That and nausea were just terrible. Along with that, they came with hot flashes, which means that sporadically throughout the day, every single pore of my body would just get rid of water. It would sweat it out. And that caused a lot of problems with my electrolytes. So not only was I having to deal with the fatigue that came from that, I didn't eat all but 2 meals over 3 days and barely drank anything, and I was feeling really, really rough. The doctors had prescribed 2 medications, an antiemetic for the nausea and something to take care of the hot flashes. Now, one of the medications that I started after chemotherapy, it's not really a medication as much as it is a naturally occurring chemical in our body called semaglutide. Semaglutide is something that's kind of new for people to start taking. It really helps with weight loss when getting rid of that weight that prednisone brings us. And that prednisone, the weight was a little challenging. So I started taking semaglutide before I started radiation. Now, the first day of radiation kicked my butt, nausea, vomiting. I had diarrhea. I had hot flashes. It was just rough. A couple days later, went to the doctor because I'm going to him every day, and he recommended that I stop taking the semaglutide, which I stopped immediately. That, plus the antiemetic that he prescribed and the anti-hot flash medication seemed to work. Eventually, I was able to wean myself off of both of the medications, and things kind of stabilized. Now we're almost halfway done with radiation treatments, and the side effects have subsided. However, some new side effects have come up. The side effects really make it challenging for our body because we're not able to do our normal things. We're not able to work out. It was really, really challenging for me. So I took some time off from the workouts to just let my body heal. And then as I started coming back and my strength came back, and this is important for you FitFAB warriors out there, I adjusted the workout program by dropping every single weight in the mobile app by half. I dropped it to 50% of what my weight was at that time, and I started lifting again at that lower weight, just to start building back up. The idea with FitFAB isn't so much that we are constantly searching for that super high bar. What we have to do is listen to our body and adjust accordingly. If we take some time off just because we go on trips, have family vacations, or just, have things get in the way, we can't go back to the gym and expect that our weight is going to be as high as it was. And so if you look at the Fit for Any Battle book, it recommends a series of reductions in that max weight to accomplish what we're set out to do, which is to work out without injury. I reduced the weights by 50%. I added some electrolytes into my water when I go to the gym, and that seems to have helped. I also kept biking. I had to take a couple weeks off of biking, and that really was unfortunate. I didn't enjoy it. But when I came back, I noticed that I had the majority of my strength back. I was still struggling a little bit on the bike, but my body is recovering really, really well. We're talking about 4 weeks into radiation treatment now. So things have stabilized. I wake up in the morning. I go to radiation. One of the biggest challenges is that I don't get to urinate before I get to radiation. If you ever wake up and feel the need to go pee, you are lucky in the fact that you probably just get to go to the restroom and use the restroom. I don't. I have to let my bladder be full when I get to radiation, so that way everything is separated and protected by pushing the organs up into my body so that the radiation doesn't affect any of the organs. Up next, we're going to talk about the latest side effects and what I'm doing to deal with them. Stay tuned. Going through prostate cancer is really tough. It's been one of the most challenging things that I have had to go through in my medical career. The problem is that everybody in my support group wants to reach out and check in on me from time to time. However, what that means is a lot of text messages, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and then people are posting on Twitter and Facebook and other places where I'm just not going to these days. That's where Update Everyone comes in. With Update Everyone, they assign me a telephone number. That telephone number is something that I can have people subscribe to by just sending the message hi to that phone number. The way that I got it to them is I sent an email out, or I responded to people that contacted me and said, hey, by the way, send a message hi to this number and you'll be subscribed to my updates. Then each time something changes, maybe I have a new therapy treatment that I have happen, or something is not feeling right, I can send a message to that phone number by sending a text message to it. And the system sends an individual text message to each person that's subscribed. What this means is I only have to go to one place, send one message, and it gets to every single person. And the beauty on the other side is people don't have to have an app. They don't have to go somewhere. The message just shows up in their text messages. And if they reply, it doesn't go to anyone else. It doesn't even come directly to me. It goes to Update Everyone, and then I log in and I can see all the nice text messages that people have sent me. So if I'm looking for that inspiration of, man, I'm not feeling good today, I just need some, words of encouragement, I can go on the updateeveryone.com site, look on the messages that people have sent, and regain that sense of purpose and that strength that I need for my support group. So be sure to check out updateeveryone.com and sign up today. Thanks to our sponsor for sponsoring today's Fit for Any Battle podcast. Now, when we last talked, it was about side effects and how to get rid of those initial side effects. Some new side effects have come up. Those side effects are really down to my intestinal digestive system. And the reason why, because I wake up in the morning, I don't urinate, which means I also don't defecate, and I go right to radiation, my bladder is full. The problem is, so is my rectum. I have poop. And unfortunately, that poop is causing my rectum to get in the way of radiation, and it's causing diarrhea. Not just simple diarrhea, we're talking all-day diarrhea, 2 Imodium at a time to get rid of the diarrhea. And so the doctor has asked me to make a change. At night, before I go to bed, I'm taking Miralax starting tonight. And then before I go to radiation, I have to wake up a little earlier and I have to poop, because that will get rid of the diarrhea, which takes a lot out of the body. Electrolytes, it really strips a lot of nutrients out of our body because we have this spastic colon that's constantly trying to get rid of our fecal matter. Now, the fecal matter itself isn't a big deal unless, of course, it gets in the way of the radiation. And as I talked about, the bladder fills up before we get to radiation to push things away from that pelvic area. Now we're talking about aggressive prostate cancer. The bladder keeps things away for the radiation to take effect. Now, if you are dealing with radiation for other parts of your body, talk to your doctor about what they recommend and how to keep your organs safe. So tonight, I'm going to be starting with Miralax, and that should reduce the diarrhea and that tends to just ruin my day because I'm stuck in back-to-back meetings all day. And if you have diarrhea and back-to-back meetings, you know how challenging it is to deal with your day. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow where I don't have this situation. Now, the interesting things are on the days that I have diarrhea, the next day I go in and there's nothing in my, no fecal matter in my rectum. So everything works great. So what we notice is diarrhea, no diarrhea, diarrhea, no diarrhea, diarrhea, no diarrhea. And the Miralax should help with all of that. We are now the middle of the fourth week, as I mentioned, out of 8. So in a couple days here, I will be completely done with 50% of radiation. And it hasn't been perfect. There have been side effects. It's been a challenge. I think it's been a bigger challenge than chemotherapy because the side effects from chemotherapy were very mild. The side effects from radiation are significant. The beauty is radiation will be done in 2 months. So I'm already about a month into it, and I've got 4 weeks and 2 days left, and then I'll be completely done. I took some time off, and that's why you haven't seen a podcast in the last couple of weeks, because I needed to deal with the side effects, get them under control. Father's Day popped up, weekends got in the way, and so I'm glad to record this podcast today and give you some information on how things are progressing and what we're doing to deal with the side effects that have come up. So stay tuned for an upcoming Fit for Any Battle podcast where we just have a follow-up and get further into this 8-week journey. I'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us today.